So I haven't had a shipping container shop update in a while, or a project done in or on the shop. So I figured I'd just give you a quick look at what's going on right now, because I think it's really going to help my productivity with the shop and kind of take me a big step forward to moving all of my garage stuff into the shop. So let me grab the camera and I'll give you a walk around of what's going on right now. So first things first, most of you know I do a lot of rainwater collection. It's my primary source of water. So the first project that I am finally getting to is the culvert cistern. There's the culvert right over there. And here is the formwork all set up, basically being ready to be poured. I was actually going to do all of this by hand, but then I started talking about it with my wife, and we figured it might be wise to add in a few other projects and actually get a delivery of concrete. And that is leading me to the next section, which is going to be a nice brand new work surface. Actually, before I take you to that one, let me just give you a quick rundown on this form for the culvert cistern. It is about 9.5 inches from the top of the forms to the bottom of the, I guess, dirt. And basically what I'll do is pour a slightly soupy mix in there, and then I will set the culvert in. And right over there is the lid to the cistern. And then after that gets all cured, I'll coat it with some rubber coating inside and hopefully be collecting rainwater. Now back to the main slab. This was the big decision factor in actually ordering a truck of concrete. I was really wrestling with what to do under here, and I always thought it would just be too expensive to get a truck. But once I started factoring in the cost of pouring that single slab, as well as doing something under here like pavers or whatever I was thinking before, I figured cost-wise it was actually worth it, and I think this is just going to make a really, really usable surface. Basically, I just have it formed up with 2x4s. The 2x4s are about an inch or so above, so it's going to be about a 4.5 to 5 inch slab. Some areas towards the backside might be 6 inches thick. And then I will just be laying this concrete remesh. As some of you know, I'm on a granite hill. I probably won't do rebar in here unless I just end up finding some free rebar. But the remesh will probably be all I do with some control joints. And then while the truck is here, I've also got this formed up. I'm not sure if I'll have enough for it. So basically this is going to be the same thing, about a 5-inch thick slab all the way through. I may put a little rebar in this a little later on, just because I may drive a car up on here. I don't know. But if that's the case, then maybe I need to dig those footers out a little bit more. In addition to all three of these forms, I also plan on making a whole bunch of what I'm going to call paver forms. Just in case the concrete truck has even more mix than I anticipate, I'm just going to set these out basically kind of how I formed up the concrete patio table, so that I can have really big stout pavers that I can maybe use to make a walkway in this area. The rest of this will eventually be rocked, but just as a way of getting the maximum benefit out of whatever amount of concrete that the guy ends up having. So I decided to make a change from what I just told you probably a minute or two ago. Instead of doing the extra forms, I decided that I'm just going to err on the side of caution and order a little bit more concrete. So I just framed up a little angled walkway right there. That area is still going to be rocked, and this will too, but at least I'll have a walkway in case I want to, say, bring my welding bench from here over to here. and I am going to decide to dig some of these footers down just a little bit more, just for since I have the extra concrete coming. And then on the back side of the shop, I am finally getting to that little awning project I've been meaning to do for a while. It is going to be a combination of steel. This is actually an old golf course gate that was being thrown away, so I salvaged it and cut it up into pieces. It was galvanized 14 gauge steel, so it's actually pretty heavy duty, and it's concreted into the ground. But I'll probably just use like 2x4s for my rafters and my decking to put the roofing on. I'll probably use the same Enduro roof. I think I have a few extra sheets left over, and this will just be for storing wood and maybe my fire trailer. And then on this vertical side of this steel structure, I'll probably end up, after it's all painted, I'll put some sheet metal or some other stuff to kind of give some additional shading for anything that's stored underneath here. And one last thing I forgot to mention, if you were wondering why these forms have the 2x4s sticking out like that, that is essentially because I just wanted to keep those 2x4s full length so that I can use them either for the awning or for my daughter's playhouse project when I start converting that other shipping container section into her playhouse. This is what I used as a homemade tamper. It's just a scrap piece from the shipping container shop indoor frame and a T-post that I just welded on there, and works just like that. And I also wanted to point out I was able to get some good use out of my DIY lighting tracks when I was building all these forms. They put out a lot of light. I was able to direct the light wherever I needed it with the track function and then the swivel mechanism. And it's just always a cool thing when you can actually get some use out of something you built. So I think that's pretty much it for this update. I don't know, it probably wasn't too much of an update. If you are wondering why I've kind of jumped ahead doing some of this concrete work, part of it was because I wanted to get the culvert cistern in the ground before our monsoon season started. But the other reason is I still want to build those workbenches and shelves, but I would really like to do it here. And when I set up the tools in just that dirt area underneath the awning, everything was unlevel, and it would just be really nice to have a good work surface and kind of make this shop really complete. Especially when I'm working on those last few projects to kind of hopefully make this shop complete. So that's kind of the reasoning. As far as the next kind of big project, I am going to build a welding bench slash rolling workbench that will probably stay underneath this awning all the time, and that is another reason why I wanted to have a good surface for it, because I think that that's probably going to be my primary work area, and I want that for when I build the other workbenches and cubbies for the inside, as well as all that nice smooth surface. So as always, guys, I appreciate you watching. Follow me on Instagram. I want to say go check out the Facebook page. I'm just really bad at posting on there, but I really need to get back to that. But for now, Instagram is the most current social thing that I'm doing. As for everything else, give this a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.